When we start to think about a rugged smartphone, aesthetically appealing is not what comes to mind, but Sony has broken the mold with the Xperia Go, offering the perfect compromise for those who won't compromise on a high-impact lifestyle. So where exactly did it blitz the field, and more importantly, where does it need a little more training? Let's take a look. Niche marketing is always a scary tactic for any brand, particularly when you are drawing in the types of people who literally throw everything at their phone. You would be accepting of a bulky, uninspired design, the type of phone you wouldn't want people to see once you were removed from the elements. However, Sony delivered your standard thin and lightweight smartphone design with all the toughness you would only get out of the aforementioned cumbersome casings of yesterday. It's defined by the Xperia branding at the base of the phone. The shape is fairly boxy besides a slight rounding of the back edges. The unfortunate thing is that the case choice makes it feel cheap. The touch sensation of its surface is not appeasing dry. I'll point out the use of the term dry. The Xperia Go is IP67 certified, giving it dust and water resistance up to 1 meter depth for 30 minutes. Once submerged, it can certainly handle water. The case choice then made sense. It was grippy, almost rubberized in feel, meaning that it wouldn't simply slip out of your hand when on the bay. This resistance to water is permissible by necessary covers securing the micro USB and headphone jack ports. They weren't always the easiest to access, but a small compromise for a much greater result. The rear panel removes to expose the well-sealed internals. An expandable memory card slot and SIM card tray are fixed along the same edge, but easily accessed. And the front face sees capacitive back, home and menu buttons along with notification light, but no front-facing camera unfortunately. The rest of the internals were fairly solid for a mid-range Android phone. Besides only half a gig of RAM, the Xperia Go optimizes the Nova Thor dual-core 1GHz CPU. App load times weren't terrible, nor was swiping through screens and multitasking in standard conditions, but it was consistently sluggish under even moderate strain. Downloading a lot of apps or media files in the background caused a rather inconvenient experience, but it was something to be aware of rather than a consistent hindrance. It was overall too easy to cause stutter, and gaming was much the same. It wasn't the worst performance and frame rates would remain stable, but it certainly struggled on occasions. Benchmark results reflect this, as it falls well down the order of Android phones for this year. You would definitely be using a micro SD card, as the 4 gig of available internal storage will get chewed up quickly. But connectivity options are on par with all its competitors, offering Wi-Fi, 3G, Bluetooth and GPS. Call quality is adequate but at times muffled, and it does have a fairly average battery that could see you through a day, but not much more. The major noticeable compromise in the name of cost was the 3.5-inch display. While it compares itself in stature to the iPhone 4, it is certainly no Retina display. The low pixel density is very evident even from first use, especially when you can almost count the pixels on screen. Colours were vibrant and viewing angles were superb, and I really must compliment the accuracy of the touchscreen, especially under the effects of water splash and wet fingers. Out of the box, it comes with a dated inclusion of Android Gingerbread that is now upgradable to Ice Cream Sandwich, and Sony layers over its own NXT user interface. The upgrade brought a more pleasant and up-to-date experience. However, I find the Xperia Go skin to be a little heavy-handed. The lock screen is nice and simple and will offer a quick launch to the camera app or the choice of other now standard unlock options. The rest of it has the essence of Android, but a few choices were definitely not my favourites. Home screens are what you would expect and transition animations are light, but entering the app drawer you do not get access to widgets. This you rather have to tap vacant home screen real estate and click the plus symbol that suddenly appears. This then gives you access to the list of widgets to add. The choice to allow the home pages to be zoomed out and disassemble pages to display widgets floating in accordance to your level of movement was a little dizzying. It is preloaded with a significant amount of carrier and Sony bloatware. Most of these inclusions are very purposeful for the crowd that Go wishes to attract, in the form of Walkmate, Figure Running and My Coach. All of the included apps serve a purpose that isn't overly original but nice to have. The Liveware Manager lets you determine what applications and settings change when certain ports are plugged, and the phone features Facebook integration that penetrates deeply and satisfyingly for those with a connected lifestyle. The Timescape app, which is the Go's answer to aggregating social feeds, delivers it in an odd funneling UI. It is very useful though, as you can add many social feeds, and something I loved using as a widget. The default web browser tended to be a little sluggish with scrolling and zooming, and I opted for Google Chrome, which performed far smoother. An important feature for anyone on the go is music, and the Walkman app offers up a fantastic place to play your favourite beats. The UI is intuitive and it offers quick and easy access to DLNA devices to change your preferred speakers, because the Go speakers were not the best. They had plenty of grunt, but they were also very tinny and muffled for the most part. Sony earphones were definitely a must. Picture and video viewing wasn't a mind-blowing experience either. The low resolution and general warmth of the screen left a lot to be desired. The Xperia Go also drops down to a 5 megapixel camera which hosts all the usual feature set, and picture quality was not really the issue. Colours on the other hand were a little off, as it sometimes suffered from general warmth issues. The Xperia Go is fashioned to a particular consumer looking for a defined experience. If you have no intention on being a little careless with this device, I would suggest you consider other phones in this price bracket. But for those wanting to drop, splash and dunk away without fear of damaging their precious smartphone, the Xperia Go is the winner. The combination of modern design style, current gen software and a reasonably fluid user experience stands it apart in its niche market. The small low resolution display needs an upgrade and definitely more RAM, but the Go has a place in the current market and will leave a decent little footprint. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been Kurt from KABOOtech. Thanks for watching.